On your journey of spiritual awakening, personal development, inner growth, you most likely have heard about shadow work. And maybe you're even wondering, well, do I even need shadow work? Is this something that I need to be doing, that I should be doing? Do I really need this? Well, let me ask you this. Do you ever feel stuck in your life? Maybe even overwhelmed or even disconnected to your true authentic self? Do you feel like that you're often holding back, maybe hiding behind certain masks, limiting yourself, or even sometimes talking yourself out of certain things, or you end up maybe even sabotaging your own efforts? If you said yes to any of these things that I just mentioned, then yes, you would benefit greatly from shadow work. And in this video, I want to share with you 10 clear indicators that you would greatly benefit from shadow work. Because recognizing these signs will give you then the awareness to then do something about, to dive deeper into those shadow aspects. Because if you feel held back in any way in your life, if you're not quite living the life that you would love to be living, there are certain limiting aspects, shadow aspects that are playing in the background that are holding you back. They're getting in the way. They're playing out in the background and affecting you, keeping you from really achieving the life, the success, the abundance, or whatever it is that you want to achieve. So let's dive into those 10 sure signs that you would greatly benefit from shadow work. The first sign is reoccurring negative patterns. Like if you keep experiencing similar things, that you feel like you kind of in that cycle of constantly repeating something over and over again. This could be in relationships, in your work life. It could be with your health. Any kind of area where you're kind of experiencing the same repeating patterns over and over again. Now, it could be in different degrees, in different ways, but the underlying core of it is always similar or even the same. If you're experiencing those recurring negative patterns, that means that those unresolved shadow aspects, those limited aspects of yourself, are being manifested within those patterns. So here, great sign that doing some shadow work would be greatly beneficial for you to clear out, to resolve those recurring negative patterns. Then the second sign is emotional triggers, that you often get easily triggered by something very simple, where something happens and that you get triggered very, very easily and maybe even blow up and you react in ways that you don't really necessarily like. And you're wondering, like, why did I blow up? Why did I react in that way? And oftentimes those emotional triggers, they're also the representation of these unresolved shadow aspects, these woundings. It's like you constantly poke the bear, right? So if something happens outside of you and it keeps poking that, that's what then causes you to feel triggered, where you then react in a not so favorable way, in a not so aligned way, and that can cause them problems. And these are the unresolved intense emotions that you hold deep within that then trigger you. For example, if one of your shadows is I'm not good enough, and then you're doing something and something happens, whether someone says something or you have some kind of experience where you feel not good enough, that is an emotional trigger. That trigger of I'm not good enough is being poked. And then you usually respond in a not so favorable way, whether it is you're kind of blowing up at people or you're then kind of constricting yourself, you're kind of holding back, you're sabotaging yourself, you're not even going to go for it, things like that. And it's those emotional triggers that are also great signs that shadow work would be very, very beneficial for you, because for one, we all have shadow aspects. We all have emotional triggers. So that's why technically, every single person would benefit from shadow work. But not everyone is ready to do that. But I'm hoping that with this video, I inspire you to dive a little deeper into uncovering your shadow aspects and really heal them, clear them, transcend them, and really set yourself free from those aspects that are really holding you back in your life. But emotional triggers is also one of the signs that shadow work would be very, very beneficial for you. Then the third sign is projection onto others, where you basically project your fears, your doubts, your inner experiences, your inner limitations onto other people. And that often plays out in you judging or blaming other people, you not liking certain aspects about them. And that's actually you projecting your own stuff onto other people. So they're mirroring back what is going on within you. You kind of projecting your unresolved issues onto other people. And if that triggers you, that is basically a sign that you have projected your stuff onto other people. So here, then, instead of getting mad at them and judging them and blaming them, you may then want to look within. Okay, what is this triggering within me? And this then also connects then to the emotional triggers too, because usually when you're projecting something onto other people, then there's that emotional trigger that triggers you because you're seeing something in other people that you don't like. You're blaming other people. But here you want to look within. Okay, where do I feel this within? Where is this coming up within me? So if you're often catching yourself blaming other people, judging other people, or seeing the fault in other people, that too is a great sign that you would benefit from shadow work. Because all these things that you're seeing in other people, it's actually just you're mirroring it out. You're actually just projecting it out onto other people. And here, I don't want you to then judge yourself or get mad about it or anything like that. I don't want to trigger you, okay? I don't want to trigger you by the things I'm sharing with you. I just want you to have the awareness that if that is what you're experiencing, that is you projecting your shadow aspects onto other people. So you can then have the awareness to then do something about it, because with awareness comes the power of choice. You can then do something about it. Without the awareness, you can't do anything about it, but it's still playing out in the background. You still continue projecting your stuff out there. You're still going to continue being emotionally triggered. That is not going to change. What will change is for you to then have the awareness to then do something about it. Then the fourth sign is chronic negative emotions. If you constantly feel stuck in that lower level vibration, those lower level thoughts where you constantly talk negatively about yourself, you're talking yourself down, you're feeling just blah most of the time, or even have the persistent feeling of anger, of sadness, of overwhelm, or even resentment, these are also great indicators that you would benefit from doing shadow work. Because those chronic negative emotions, those constantly feeling those negative emotions, those are the unresolved woundings that you still hold within you. The suppressed emotions that you haven't healed from yet. And those contribute then to that consistent, persistent negative feelings that you're experiencing. It's like you feel like you can't really get out of that, constantly feeling just negative and low and depressed and sad and angry and those type of feelings. All of those lower level frequencies, those lower level emotions, if you're often catching yourself feeling stuck in that, that too is a great sign that you would benefit from shadow work, because you want to uncover and heal those emotional woundings that are causing you to feel all those negative feelings. Then the fifth sign is self-sabotage, where you then actually either talk yourself out of things or subconsciously you are doing things that actually sabotages your effort. Like, have you ever done something, you're like, yes, I want this, and you're going for it, but then it didn't work out? And if you allow yourself to maybe look a little closer, you may realize that, well, maybe I didn't really put that much effort into it, or maybe I didn't quite believe that I can actually do that, or maybe I even had thoughts that I'm really not good enough, so I kind of hope it's not going to work out because, well, I'm not really good enough, I can't really do that. Anything like that. If you really take a step back of anything that you've tried and it didn't work out, and you really assess from a detached point of view, not really connecting onto the emotional charge here, but really just kind of looking at it from a detached point of view, like, I wonder what exactly happened here. You will uncover that there was something on a subtle level that actually caused you to self-sabotage your efforts. Or like I said, you made even talk yourself out of things. Or you actually don't go after what you want, or you're settling for something less because you don't really think that you can actually have what you actually want. So you're just it's safer to just settle for something less. That also is self-sabotage. And that usually stems from those hidden fears, the doubts, the limiting shadow aspects of self. The woundings around certain things that you may have done in the past and you had negative experience around. So, well, I shouldn't even try again, right? So let's stay safe. Let's not even go there. Things like that. So if you've ever experienced that things didn't really go so well, or you kind of noticed that you actually self-sabotaged yourself or talked yourself out of things, also a great indicator that you would benefit from shadow work, because you want to uncover those hidden fears and doubts that are actually keeping you from experiencing the life that you want and really going after what you want without settling, without holding back or any of that. Then the sixth sign is having difficulty setting boundaries. If you really struggle to set those clear boundaries where people just walk all over you and they have no respect for any kind of boundaries, they make you do certain things or ask you constantly, and you just constantly say yes, 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 yes. You can't really say no. And you're really not setting those boundaries for yourself or honoring your boundaries. You're overexerting yourself. You're overextending yourself. That is a great sign that you have unresolved shadow aspects related to self-worth and even fear of rejection. Because if you're really standing in your power, you set your boundaries like, nope, not doing that. Nope, not available for that. Well, that could cause conflict with other people. That could cause you to feel rejected because you kind of have to say no. And they're like, what? You did what? You're saying no, right? So there are these fears of how other people may respond. Another shadow aspect is kind of like that people-pleasing kind of energy because you want to be accepted, you want to be loved, and all of those different things. That means that you really would benefit from shadow work because you need to set boundaries. And if you're really having a hard time with setting those boundaries, then like I said, that most likely is in connection with low self-worth, so low self-value and those type of things, like really not respecting yourself, not honoring yourself, having that fear of being rejected if you do stand in your power. So if you experience any of that, if you feel like that people walk all over you, or you're kind of like that doormat, things like that, people take advantage of you, that means you don't really have clear boundaries, and you would greatly benefit from shadow work to heal those fears, the woundings around self-worth, self-acceptance, and those type of things. Then the seventh sign is that you're feeling absolutely stuck and unfulfilled in your life. If you ever feel that way, even though let's say you have quite a success in your life, you are very accomplished, but you're still feeling quite stuck and not very happy, that also is a great indicator there are certain shadow aspects that are playing in the background, creating that inner conflict. And it's those unhealed parts that are the cause for that. And here too, you want to really uncover that. Because if you're feeling that way, that means that there are those shadow aspects that are hindering you from really feeling fulfilled, no matter what you're doing, no matter the level of success that you're achieving. And that can also then hinder you from actually becoming even more successful, if that is what you're really going for. Then the eighth sign is that you're avoiding certain topics, certain emotions, certain memories or thoughts. You just don't want to go there because deep down you know that it's painful, it's hurtful. Let's say a good example is, let's say you've gone through a really horrible divorce, or you lost a loved one, or anything like that, like really something that was very, very painful, and you don't even want to think about it. You don't even want to talk about it. You just want to put it aside. That too is a great indicator that you would benefit greatly from shadow work, because it's those things that still hold a lot of charge, that still hold a lot of tension around it, that to the point that you don't even want to think about it, that you don't even want to talk about it, you don't even want to touch it or go there. Those emotions are still there, and they're playing in the background, and they're actually playing a very big part in your life. Because even though you don't want to think about them or acknowledge them, or you just kind of push them aside, doesn't mean they're gone. They're actually very much present in your life, and they're determining a lot of your actions, inactions, how you're showing up in the world, what you do, how much you put yourself out there, all of those things. And by you suppressing those difficult experiences, those memories, is that indicator that you have a lot of unresolved emotions and even issues that require your attention. And those are the ones that you really want to look at and heal and clear and transcend, because those that are so intense that you don't even want to go there, that you don't even want to look at them and touch them or work through them, they're playing out in the background quite intensely, more so than any other things that you can think about without having that intense charge around it. Then the ninth sign is that inner critic or negative self-talk. If you catch yourself always criticizing yourself or talking down on yourself or just talking negatively about yourself, great indicator that you would benefit from shadow work, because those are the hidden shadow aspects around self-doubt, unhealed woundings that are playing out in the background that are causing you to feel that way, where you don't feel good enough, where you don't feel capable, where you have doubts and fears, and you're really being very critical with yourself. Here, being a perfectionist is also falls into this category where you feel like it's never good enough. You constantly try to strive to make it better. You're holding back and you're saying like, no, this is not good enough. I'm so stupid. I can't do this. And it's not right yet. Things like that. If you ever catch yourself really criticizing yourself, or even let's say when it comes to your health, your weight, or how you look, or about your life, or anything where you're criticizing any area of your life, or even about yourself, that too, you may want to dive a little deeper to uncover those shadow aspects, those inner woundings that are causing you to really criticize yourself or talk negatively about yourself. Then the 10th and final sign is lack of authenticity. And this shows up where you're kind of hiding behind all these masks, where you're holding back, you're kind of in the background, right? In the shadows. You're not really showing up as your full, true, authentic self. You're always holding back parts of you. You're always hiding behind the masks in order to fit in, to not be judged, to not be rejected, to be liked, to be accepted, and things like that. But you're hiding a part of you, and you're basically suppressing parts of you out of fear of being judged or rejected, not fitting in. And all that are signs of unresolved shadow aspects and woundings that require your attention. So here are the 10 signs that you would greatly benefit from shadow work. Now, I've heard people say, well, I don't need shadow work. I don't have any limiting beliefs. I don't have any doubts, but they're feeling extremely stuck in life. So I wanted to share these signs with you, not to upset you or to trigger you, but more so to inspire you to acknowledge that, you know what? Yes, I do resonate with quite a few of those signs, or maybe even all of them. If you do me a favor, leave me a comment below. Let me know. How do you feel about those signs that I shared with you? Do you resonate with any of them or even all of them? I would love to know. But like I said, my intention wasn't to upset you or to trigger you, but my intention was to inspire you to dive into shadow work, because if you have any of those signs, you would greatly benefit from shadow work. And when you start really uncovering those hidden aspects, you work through your shadows, you heal, you clear, you transcend these aspects, really embodying and integrating the gift of the shadow. Then you can let go of all that negative stuff and you feel more empowered, and you're also stepping more into your true authentic self, no longer holding back, no longer limiting yourself, or no longer settling for anything less, or even getting in your own way. And I want to encourage you to reflect on what I shared with you. Tune into each and every one of those signs that I shared with you and see, how does this play out in your life? I'm pretty sure it plays out in some area of your life, maybe many areas, and also maybe in different degrees, maybe some very subtle degrees, or maybe some very intense and very noticeable degrees. I really want to invite you, allow yourself to tune into each and every one of those signs I shared with you and see, how does this play out in your life? And then never judge yourself. Be grateful that you're becoming aware, because then you have the power to do something about it. And here I want to invite you to consider maybe joining me in Transcendence, my membership, where I can support you on this journey of really uncovering more about what's really holding you back, and also helping you really transcend into a higher way of being. Really helping you become your true authentic self. If that is of interest to you, if you want to find out more about that, then check out the link in the description below. Part of Transcendence, we have weekly calls, weekly mentor coaching, healing calls, and then also monthly workshops, and so much more to assist you on your journey. So like I said, if that's of interest to you, definitely check out the link in the description below. I would be honored if you were to join me and all the other members of the community on this journey of deep inner transformation. So thank you so much for being here. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, maybe hit the like button, maybe share it with someone that you think would benefit from it. Also, definitely be sure to check out these two videos here. One is about the top 7 shadow work techniques for deep inner healing, and another one is about how do you actually recognize those shadow triggers in your life so you can start healing and clearing them. So thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video, hopefully also in Transcendence. Until then, make an amazingly abundant and joyful day. Namaste.